Welcome to Rick's Corner, brought to you by Old School Labs, the brand I trust and the only one I put my name to. Use my code drasin12 on the link below.
Welcome to Rick's Corner. The man, the myth, the legend. Now on with the show.
Well, welcome back to Rick's Corner. I'm in my office again. I have this leg injury, as you all know, and to go into my studio is not a big problem, but sitting on the stool activates the pain more because it's a sciatic nerve as well, and so I got to take a few days out of there and come back in here to talk. But this works just as well. It's still my office, and it's still Rick's Corner, and it's still me, and it still is what it is. I want to talk a little bit about doctors and bodybuilding, because sometimes they don't go hand in hand, and sometimes they do. I've always felt growing up that I was supposed to go to the doctor because that's where my parents took me when I was sick. 99% of the time they fixed it. If you had a cold, if you had a flu, whatever you had, they give you a shot of penicillin, you're good to go. I even had a doctor that made house calls for $3 when I was a kid, if you can imagine that. My dad would give him $3, he'd come out and give me a shot of penicillin. That was the end of it. But as you get older and you're more responsible for yourself, to take care of yourself, then you have to see a doctor about certain things. And I think one thing is a physical. You got to have everything checked, your blood panels, your heart, your lungs, and everything in your body, especially if you're on TRT, because those things change and your blood cells get more dominant. If they're the red blood cells, they get thicker, the blood gets thicker, you have to drain it off, and you need to know what's going on with you. I didn't know for years that I had AFib, which is a heart condition that is an irregular beat. So they put me on blood thinners for it. If you take the blood thinners, it will prevent a stroke and you won't die. All right, but the problem with the blood thinners is you can't take ibuprofen or aspirin or anything else with it if you have a headache or something hurting, because it makes your blood too thin. Then you bleed out. They got you coming and going. So I listen to a degree. I always am very honest with the doctor about what I'm taking, everything, because they need to know if they're going to test you, what's going to mask certain things or what's going to come through certain things. So you need to be honest with them and tell them to check everything in your body. You don't want any surprises in 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. You don't want a heart attack overnight because you forgot to tell them something you were doing and you were taking the wrong thing. I have a lot of friends that take medications for certain things if they're sick, and I'll say, what do you take? And they go, I don't know, I just take it. I don't know, I just take it. How stupid can you be? You need to know what you're putting in your body. I know every medicine that I'm taking. I know every label. I've done all my Google research on what the side effects are and what it does for me and if it's going to help me or not. I have to know everything I'm putting down my mouth. And I think anybody who goes to a doctor that gets a shot or gets a medication, they need to know exactly what he's giving them, because not all medicines fit the same people. However, some of the doctors give everybody the same medicine because they think, okay, it works for him, it'll work for you, it'll work for him, and they get lazy. And then they have to write so many prescriptions a month to meet a quota. That one doctor told me this. You have to write so many or you get fined. So they're trying to sell the product. This I know for a fact. You also have second opinions. They always say, go get a second opinion. Okay. So I had a vein problem in my leg, and it was pretty bad, and it burst open from a hematoma, and it was bleeding everywhere. I went to the doctor. He says, go get it drained. Doctor that drains it says, I can't do anything. Go to a vascular surgeon. So I go to a vascular surgeon. He says, your vein is leaking in your leg, so we're going to go up inside and glue it shut, which they did. Took about 30 minutes. I still had blood that was in my leg from somewhere. It was a pocket full of blood. He never followed through to take care of it, to make sure I was okay. I went back in. I was bleeding out the leg like you can't believe, and he just says, I'll go to the ER. What happened to standing behind your profession? So I go to the ER, they're going to treat it, they're going to keep me in the hospital for a week and tell me that my heart's kicking up too high because the guy stressed me out. So they put me on heart medication. Another cardiologist comes in there, he says, don't take that medication, take this medication. Okay, don't make a right turn, make a left turn. What am I supposed to do? I can't listen to everybody, and I don't know which one is right and which one isn't. So I finally get through this and get home, and I had had a knee replacement 2.5 years ago, and it's fine. Then all of a sudden from the vein thing, my legs started to swell a little bit, and I start getting like weird holes in my calf. You could put a cigarette into them. They're like flesh-eating virus thing. It's all part of the vein and the circulation problems. So I have a nurse that comes out every day for the past 11 months, packs it, wraps it, and leaves. And then on Friday there's one from the wound doctor, and they do some stuff to it. But I'm finally at the point where it's almost healed. There's one hole left, and it's almost closed up. So in the meantime, I'm limping around. My calf got real small because they wrap it real tight. You got to have compression. And it's made my leg hurt. It's made my sciatic nerve hurt. And so I went to an orthopedic doctor who was a friend of mine, and he looked at it and he says, I don't know, it doesn't look good. Let me take a culture. Okay, so they took a culture, came back negative about 2 months ago. He says, but you could possibly have an infection on your prosthetic knee. If you do, that's a real mess. I barely said I could have to my kids. Oh well, never should have said that, because in their mind I do, and I need to go have it taken out. Okay, it's like going to Burger King and ordering a burger. They're still going to take my knee and put another one in. This is how people think. So I went back to him, and he took a blood culture in my leg. He sent it in. He came back that my white blood cells were high. It means that you have an infection. But it doesn't tell you where the infection is. It could be the flu. It could have been the pocket in front of my knee. It could be anywhere in my body. So I'm on antibiotics. All right, so I go back to my orthopedic that did my regular knee replacement yesterday, and he looked at it. Well, it's kind of swollen. You got a lot of fluid around it, a lot of water. Yes, I do. I'm holding water, but your bandage is so tight on your leg. No wonder you have no circulation. This is the way the nurse did it. He says, but I wouldn't do anything for 6 weeks. Let the healing go down, get the water down, get the pain out. I know you have a sciatic nerve problem. Get it manipulated and use some ice packs. Okay, fine. I tell my kids. They say, oh my God, you went to the wrong doctor. You need another opinion. He didn't want to operate and take your knee out? I said, no. He said there was no need to right now. Go back in 6 weeks. So I'm getting all kinds of crap for that, not doing it. But the point I'm trying to make is every doctor has an opinion, and it's kind of difficult to know which one to listen to. I figured the guy who did my knee replacement would know better than anybody, and so that's why I went there. I'm not going to any more doctors because they'll just have another opinion. They'll do something else, and they like to scare you, and they want to put you in the hospital and operate. But I was trying to tell my kids, it's not worthy of an operation right now. First of all, I have to have the other thing clear up. But you need to know your body and what you're capable of. I was walking okay, then I went to a cane because it was hurting so bad, then I went to a walker the past week. And the reason that's hurting so bad is because it's my sciatic nerve from my hip down my leg to my ankle, which has nothing to do with any infection or knee. So I've got that figured out. So what I'm saying is if you go to the doctor and they tell you one thing or another doctor and they give you this, back and forth stuff, try to understand that it's a doctor's practice. It's not perfect. They're just experimenting and telling you what they think it could be. And you talk to them and give them options. I used to hear from my girlfriend back in the day that you tell your doctors everything you want to hear and you tell them what you want them to do. And my kids say that too. You just tell them what you want to hear. I said I have enough knowledge of my body that I've trained for all these years and I've taken care of myself that I know when something's not working and when it is working. So I tell them the symptoms. I tell them what I think the cure will be, and a lot of times they'll agree with me. To my family, that means that I talked them into it, but I didn't. I just happened to know it. So you're going to get differences of opinion, and you got to find what works for you. I mean, it is experimental, and you finally get tired of going back. I went to 2 vascular surgeons and 3 orthopedic doctors. Ended up going back to my original one, and my kids said, "Well, you just wanted to hear that because you want to hear you don't have to do anything." That's not the case. I'm in a lot of pain. I want to do something. I want to get rid of this. So I'm not making up that he said something he didn't say. I would invite anybody to come down there with me and listen to the doctor and see if he said what they thought. So you want to take care of yourself. You're going to get injuries and strains and muscle tears, and you're going to get sick, and sometimes the resistance runs down from being sick with the flu, and because it runs down, you end up pulling a muscle and something strains and then you don't feel good and then something else hurts. Like from this, I had a couple of days of the flu and then my shoulder started to kill me. I had some deep tissue on them and they're on fire. And it's like I've never had this before. Why is everything at once? So, doctors are okay. Chiropractors I like too because they give me a good adjustment and it helps pretty much if they find the root of the problem. Like my L4 and L5 used to go out and I'd be sideways and I'd go there and I'd do an adjustment right away and ice it. Next day I was fine. I've seen people stuck for 2 weeks like that because they won't go to the chiropractor. They're afraid of them. Years ago when I was wrestling, back way back, there were some chiropractors that worked as wrestlers at night. It was a double income. So we'd throw our back out and we'd wrestle one of the guys, and I said, look, my back's out tonight, give me a huge body slam and knock it in. And they would. They'd get a big body slam, and all of a sudden your back would readjust and you're fine to go. It's a good story, but it was used a lot. So anyway, I wanted to say that. I thought that would be good information for all of you. And your health is your most important thing that you can take care of. Without this, without that, you can't do anything. I'm limping around here on a walker trying to clean a turtle tank and trying to do this and trying to do that. And it just takes the wind out of my sails because it's so much effort just to walk with this thing and to get from the car to the house. But I will say, I do go to the gym every morning with it, and I get into the gym and I walk around and limp around from machine to machine and do my workout. And mentally I feel so much better when I leave because I know I did something for myself that was positive, and I think the circulation also helps. So that being said, make sure when you get a prescription, you ask the doctor what it is. Do your research. Make sure that there's not side effects that you can't handle because you never know. You know, I mean, one of these had a side effect of death. Well, don't want to do that. I wouldn't be here to talk about it. All right, guys, thanks for watching Rick's Corner. I've got some more subjects coming up, and we'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed the video brought to you by Old School Labs. Use my discount code DRASIN12 on the link below at oldschoollabs.com. Hey everyone, now you can have the Gold's Gym logo drawn by me, the artist Rick Drasin, personalized and made out to you and signed by me to frame and put on your gym wall or wherever you see fit to do so. It's a piece of bodybuilding history. It will never be duplicated again. It's the largest selling icon t-shirt logo in the world, and I'm the guy that drew it, and I will draw it for you. Just go to my website, rickdrasin.com, and order there. You can pay through PayPal, and it'll be sent out right away. And be sure to watch Rick's Corner for all the videos on bodybuilding, nutrition, fitness, pro wrestling, and anything that suits your interests as far as getting physically fit and being the best you can be from the golden era of bodybuilding.
He's the equalizer, baby. See you next time.